had that question, you know, okay, where are
Yeah,
my
where's
peeps?
everybody?
You know, and
exactly.
so now they say some things are going on, but I'd like to pick up on that maybe tomorrow.
Yeah,
you
it
know.
would be interesting to
Yeah.
know exactly what is, we just, and
Yeah.
we've had at least 3 or 4 murders in this neighborhood.
Yeah,
It's just got to stop, and we're
Yeah.
the ones who can stop it.
It's
And
crazy.
I just wish we could sit down and talk about this in a way that will lead to some type of a change or some type
Well,
of solution.
people have to put their personal interests in a box, tie it up,
That's right.
tape it
And
down with
that's
some of
right.
that
Don't
great
even
tape.
let it
you
out.
know?
That's right. Do
Some of
not
that great
let it
magic
out.
tape you eat,
Exactly.
duct tape, I think that's what
Yeah.
they call it.
Yeah.
And be willing to put all that aside and then come to the table.
I wanted to switch back on one thing that you were talking about. Dr. Sharon Clayton is here, and Raymond Hewlin is here visiting us from New York. And Dr. Clayton, most of you know very well, professor at UNI. It was about education and the fact that we have governors and other people who are saying the problem is so tough in education, and especially for reading, that some of our schools have been put on notice that they have to change that. They've got to get these kids ready. The statement has been made more than once. Well, if they're not reading by 3rd grade, pass them on. Which to me, you've just condemned that child to a life of misery and never being able to take their place on the stage. Pass them on. It's ludicrous. What? Share your thoughts on that.
For
Sharon?
parents who would say, you know, some of us get so hung up on people being, quote, on time, you know, graduating with their class and things like that, and not focused on the skills that are needed. So I would say that perhaps many of us are complicit with this idea of social promotion, and that's what it amounts to.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if your son's in the 2nd grade this year, and next year your friends say, well, how did little, you know, Webster do? Oh, he's doing fine, he's in the 2nd grade. Well, wasn't he in the 2nd grade last year? You can't be embarrassed about that, because the grades have nothing to do with the skill, and, you know, you have to make sure people have skills to go on. Of course, I'm opposed to the notion that you know a child is working from a deficit unless you have in that plan what you're going to do to correct that deficit. Then I think that's crazy policy, you know. So if you can't read in the 2nd grade, I'll send you to the 3rd grade.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what are you going to do different in the 3rd grade that's going to help this child learn to read? Are you going to do more of the same? If you do more of the same, then that child's going to go to the 4th grade and still not be able to read. So I think we have to look at those policies closely, and it's not a reward system that we're working on in education. So it's no reward to your child to send them off with a skill set that's not going to be beneficial for them.
Exactly.
And so I think parents need to ask some big questions. So he doesn't have the skill set. How's he going to get that skill set?
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do to make sure he has the skill set so that in the 4th grade, 3rd grade, you don't pass him on again,
Mhm.
because he's getting bigger,
Right.
you know,
By
and
6th
he's
grade,
going to
they're
be,
dropout material.
hey, it's 3rd and 4th with our kids,
Yeah.
you know, and so I just think unless there's a plan in place, the only thing that does is to make room for more people, to have more funding coming in, and it's just a user situation. I would not prostitute my child in that way, you know, and that's just the way I look at it, you know. Let me give you this, you give me something in return. Oh, he's in the 3rd grade. That's not going to work. It doesn't work for me unless I know more information. But right now, what I've read in the paper, I haven't gotten that kind of information.
And I don't think, I was hoping that the parents this would really bring them to action, to question, to say, you know, I am concerned about my child. He's not reading at his level.
Mm-hmm.
What can we as parents do? You know, even Zoe gives tips to parents on her show about reading to your child, having your child read to you aloud and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she's only 7. What are we doing as parents that can work and go to the school and say, can you explain this to me? How can I change it? What do I need to be doing with my child so that it's not a social promotion, but that he's been given the tools that he's going to need if he's gonna have any success in life at all?
Who do you think that perhaps we have some younger parents out there, do you think that the younger parents are more into a me situation, it's all about me as opposed to my children?
Without
Do you think that I'm more concerned about what I'm gonna do on Friday night, what I'm gonna wear, how I'm gonna get my life together, and so they're not reading? You know, when I was growing up, we didn't have a lot of books in the house, but we sure had a lot of Jet magazines.
Yeah.
You know, and I could tell you anything that was in a Jet magazine, I knew exactly where to go and get them out.
Yeah.
And once it got beyond the pictures, then you start reading the words, and then you start learning about what's going on in the world, you know.
And you know, the media that had the most effect on me when I was growing up in our home, the Chicago Defender.
Oh, the Defender?
The Defender, oh my
We had the
goodness.
Cleveland Call-and-Post in Cleveland, we had a lot of black newspapers. They're gone, folks.
They're gone, gone,
They're
never to
gone.
return.
They're
Yes,
gone.
they are gone.
Can I just correct myself? I hate to put anything out there I don't know. It's the American Legislative Exchange Council. That's what ALEC stands for. The Nation magazine had a wonderful article on that. And for those of you who think that I'm just kind of talking off the top of my head all the time, Robert Draper's book entitled "Do Not Ask What Good We Do" is about the about Congress, about the plan that was put in place to attack Obama and prevent him from becoming president for a second term. You need to check that book out. So I wanted to put those two pieces on so people know where I'm. The second book is by Robert Draper, and it's entitled "Do Not Ask What Good We Do," and it's an account of the meeting that took place as Obama was sworn into his presidency. It's a meeting of Republicans who sat down with Gingrich at the head of the table saying, okay, we got to do something, and they came up with a plan at that point. So that book actually reveals the plan that the Republicans put into place to prevent, their whole task is to prevent Obama from becoming president. It was written, Draper was privy to that meeting, and so it's not manufactured. He's not been hung up on the wall, but he sure hasn't been on the book circuit as much as some people when they write these kind of like Ann Coulter and stuff like that. She gets on every show, so you haven't seen Draper out there.
This might be a little too
Yeah, put it on your iPad or put it on your Kindle or march your little tush to the bookstore, pick up a copy. You know, I like hard copies, but it's easy to put these things on the iPad for the show and stuff.
Okay, we have a few minutes left, and I don't know whether, I was probably listening with one ear and thinking when I should have been listening with both ears. The question that I asked, where do you think we will be as African Americans in this whole thing in relationship to those that are saying because Obama took this stand on same-sex marriage, black people are not going to vote for him? I personally, I don't believe that. I don't believe that will cause people who are critical thinkers.
Well, yeah,
You know, I think that they're going to look at this and look at the larger picture as well. I may be wrong, but I really hate it when people think for me and say, well, this is what you're going to do. You know, just assume that, well, yeah, we know that that's going to happen. No, it will not happen if we continue to allow information from our own perspective and to look at what it is we're trying to accomplish and why we're registering, why we're going to the polls, and that will have, the outcome will be very different from what is being predicted by the pundits today.
You know what else is going to happen? Our black ministers, because they're throwing it in the laps of our churches, our black ministers are going to have to say, wait a minute, you know, because they're suggesting that because of our religiosity, that So our black ministers, we need to have a meeting of these black ministers and sit them down and go whoop upside the head and say, listen, you know, the government, everybody has a right to their personal beliefs, etc. But the responsibility of government